Okay, good day, everybody. My name is Brad Trojan. I'm a mortgage agent with the Mortgage Coach, and with me today.
Hi, I'm Anjali Harvie. I am a realtor sales representative from Keller Williams Experience Realty. Today, we are going to talk to you on our second session of Talking Point Tuesday about navigating through COVID. So we again have 5 main points that we're going to talk to you about today. The first being the one I think we should talk about first and foremost is, do you need to buy and sell right now? There's many various situations that we've all experienced during COVID-19, and this has led to many different individuals possibly needing to find alternative living arrangements, whether that be that they don't like being in a condo building and being around too many people, or they need extra assistance, possibly different financial situations, needing to find someone to help them with their mortgage, needing to sell their house. That should be the first conversation that you're having with your family. And then, of course, your realtor and mortgage broker is whether or not you need to be buying or selling right now. Going into the second point is about technology and getting comfortable with technology. So whether you're buying or selling, and again, in many different industries, but mostly but in ours in particular, utilizing the technology available is very important. So right now we're coming to you on Zoom. Of course, I wish we were sitting across the table having a coffee together, but we're not able to do that right now. So whether you're buying or selling, viewing houses, going through virtual walkthroughs with your agent, even from that first meeting. I love to sit in a coffee shop and sit with my clients and go through questionnaires and things like that, but we really haven't been able to do that for a while now, almost a year. So yeah, all of the signing, everything is happening virtually. And a lot of even first-time visits in houses are happening virtually. If you're selling your house, really trying to capitalize on virtual tours and photos. There's so many different really cool things that we can do to showcase your house. Those are all very important in marketing your house and in buying a house. Brad, are you using a lot of different virtual measures right now with your clients?
Oh, absolutely. It's COVID has definitely changed things and altered things in terms of how we conduct our business now. And we firmly believe that even when all this ends, let's say whether if it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, everything's not just going to go poof and go magically back to what it was pre-COVID. I think this is fast forwarded people's thinking in the process in terms of how they want to conduct not just real estate and mortgages, but even everyday living from now on. And so anyway, with the COVID market, something that's also changed lately, particularly in Ontario, is the way appraisals and inspections are being conducted. So I'll let Anjali jump in on that one.
Yeah, so what's really interesting, we saw a shift with appraisals is that many appraisals are not happening actually with in-person visits anymore. So which kind of goes back to the second point there as well with technology, is that they're really relying on the photos that are taken for your listing and doing drive-bys, asking questions, things like that. So they don't even often go through the house. That being said as well, with this market, it's very hot right now and houses are going for really high over asking. So appraisals may not necessarily come in exactly at what you're paying for your house, and it could cause some issues that I'll let Brad talk about in a second. The other thing is also about inspections, is that with this crazy market, home inspections are not happening are not as common because mostly offers won't get accepted if you have a condition of home inspection right now, which is a little scary depending on the type of house that you're buying. and they're also happening in person, and some, whether or not a seller is comfortable having someone else come through their house is just something to consider. So when you walk through the house, you have to have a really keen eye when you're looking through to see if you're comfortable on purchasing a house without having a home inspection. Although it's something I would never normally suggest, just in this market, it seems to be what is becoming more of the norm. So Brad, have you experienced with appraisals any issues?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a tricky situation, especially just given in today's market. It's very, very fierce right now in terms of people trying to buy homes. There's some places that are going, I've heard stories of places going 100,000, 200,000 over asking, right? And, if the appraisal comes in, then that house that you paid 750 for comes in at 700,000, then you have to come up with the extra 50,000 in cash on top of what you're pre-approved for. So it's tricky. You just have to be very careful with what's going on. You just have to know your finances. Again, talk to your realtor. Your realtor will strongly advise you, just what you can afford, and let you know that if this is something that's worth the risk and won't impact you on a financial level. It's all about protecting you, the purchaser. So again, when it comes to all that stuff, it's all part of decision making. And that's what leads to our fourth topic. It's talking about how when you're buying a property, who's involved. So let's say you and your spouse want to buy a property, but let's say you need some help. So whether if it's an in-law, a cousin, a brother or sister, you can have them, or a grandma or an uncle for that matter, you can have them come in as either a co-signer or a guarantor to help you in purchasing your property. And with the way this market's been, that seems to be the ever-growing trend more and more, which is fine. But to help make your process easier in terms of buying the property and getting a mortgage, I can't stress enough the importance of making sure everybody is on the same page. I'll let Anjali jump into it more.
And what kind of can make this difficult right now with COVID is that usually what was happening is, if especially if you have a guarantor, they want to see the house and what they're helping you purchase. Even if it wasn't a guarantor or co-sign situation, many times, especially for first-time home buyers, I would say, they want to have some family, maybe friends. Maybe you have a friend who's contractor, or one of your parents or something like that has different expertise, and you want to show them through the house to get their opinion on it. That is not really able to be happening right now with COVID. What's happening is you are only allowed to be going through houses with the buyers, up to 2 purchasers and your realtor. No children being allowed to go through for the most part, unless certain extenuating circumstances, and definitely no extended family members that are being allowed to go through, because only those that are absolutely necessary to be going through the house are approved to be doing that. And so that can make, that decision making, especially in this very competitive market, a little harder for buyers to really have to be comfortable with that decision on their own and be able to get other family members or guarantor or co-signer on board with that decision without possibly being able to show them through the house. And that can be difficult and something to consider before you get to that end time of putting in an offer on a house, just to know that that is definitely a factor that is happening right now with COVID. Another one is, to get into our last point here, is about renovations. So there's been many different kind of walls that I think people who are building or renovating houses that they've hit with COVID lately, from actually getting materials to not being able to go into Home Depot or Rona, to, even just with regards to even pricing out certain things, or having a contractor let a quote on to get certain things done, or a timeline to get that done. And that can be very difficult. So if you're buying a house, let's say there's a leak in the basement and you're okay with that, you're comfortable with buying a house, there's a leak in the basement. If that needs to be addressed right away, that's not really realistic right now, because even if there are contractors that are able to do it, many are very, very backed up. The cost of things have gone up because of the cost of materials and inaccessibility to certain materials. And so it's definitely, depending on the renovation or the update or repair that needs to be done, definitely something that needs to be taken into consideration when buying or selling your home that needs some repairs.
Yeah, and to further Angeli's point, timing is the biggest thing. It's very just tricky right now, whether if you want to book a plumber or an electrician, unless you've got a super family friend or just somebody you know very closely. It's they're backed up right now. Even pre-COVID, there's a certainly demand in I find in the trades field right now, even with people that have already moved into homes and just looking to renovate and upgrade. Even pre-COVID, they were backed up in some cases for weeks, sometimes months. And now with the pandemic going on, it's just even more time consuming. So my biggest tip from all this is whether if you're buying or selling a home, saying, for example, let's say you're buying into a fixer upper, start investigating right away. You have to investigate right away, because the longer you wait, the longer you're going to wait until the project is done. So even though it's tricky right now with lack of supplies and so forth, it doesn't hurt to have a conversation with, again, plumbers, electricians, builders, just start to get the conversation going. And because again, timing is the biggest factor right now with all of this. So, and hopefully one day the pandemic will come and go. But in the meanwhile, just do your research, make some phone calls, and talk to people and just find out what's out there. So to close off this topic, Anjali and I, we're certainly open to having conversations, to helping you navigate yourself through COVID and just through this tough market. I know we made it sound doom and gloom, but it can be done. People are still moving out there. People are still buying properties. People are still renovating. So it certainly can be done, right?
It's just about having that knowledge and knowing what you're getting into before you get too far down that path.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for joining in with us today. We're hoping you learned a couple things, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. Next week, we'll be talking about the ever popular topic, understanding your credit. Wah, wah. I know it doesn't sound too great, but it's another important topic that we'd like to share with you guys. It's all factors into the home buying process, and we're just here to help you out. So again, if you want to have a conversation with us, again, you can find us we're everywhere. We're on various social media platforms. You can reach out to us via Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Then we'll be happy to give you guys a call or have an email conversation, or we can have a Zoom conversation like we're having right now.
Exactly. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking about this with you, and looking forward to connecting and talking about our next topic next week. Have a wonderful day.
See you guys next week.
Bye.